What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Indiana Jones's. It's me, Indiana Jones's debate room. We're in the middle of the season, like I said before, and we have so many things going on, especially with the silly season, right? So, before we actually do start talking about the silly season, I think it's important to check who is where and who is available, whose contract is in danger, ending, whatever. Right? So let's just jump to the driver market. Driver market! Anyway, no money for effects. So, as you can see, more or less, this is the grid of 2023 with an exception of Nick DeVries, which now is replaced by Daniel Ricciardo, as we all know, right? So let's start with the Red Bull. The Red Bull team, the most wanted car for this season, for the following season, basically until 2026 with the regulations changes, right? We have Max Verstappen with the contract ending in 2028 with more or less 50 millions per year, which might be more based on latest rumors, seeing how he's destroying everything and blah, blah, blah. And now this is the most wanted car. We have Perez, Sergio Perez, with the contract ending next year. However, we know that with Red Bull, contracts are just a piece of paper. They can throw it to the garbage can as fast as you have come into the car, right? We saw it with Gasly, with Albon, we saw it with so many drivers before, especially in Toro Rosso and Alfa Tauri, where they just use them as a garbage can, like. But anyway, his performance has not been the one desired this season. Of course, Mexican people and like Latin, Hispanic people might say that his car has been slowed down somehow. Something that could be true, we don't know, right? But even he himself said it, that it's kind of garbage, right? He just lost his mojo for some reason for part of the season. He's trying to recover it right now. We saw in Belgium in the Rust Grand Prix where he was actually kind of performing, of course, with that rocket ship. It's kind of difficult not to perform, right? So, is his seat safe for next season? Not just for this season, for next season. And for that, actually, we do have many candidates behind, right? Well, this is the first option. The logical option would be to keep Sergio Perez in the second Red Bull. He has the contract. Finishing the contract might actually cost money. Not that Red Bull actually cares about the money. It would be an unnecessary cost, but still, if they think that, for example, Daniel Ricciardo is going to be faster, they will not hesitate. Helmut Marko and Christian Horner do not hesitate. They are trying Daniel Ricciardo until the end of the season to see how he's gonna perform, if he has his mojo back, the one that he lost in McLaren and perhaps in Renault, we don't know. If he is actually outperforming Yuki Tsunoda kind of consistently, he might be a candidate for that car. Maybe they will swap positions with Ricciardo and Perez. Perez would go to Alfa Tauri. We will see if Perez agrees to that. But yeah, this is number one candidate. Number two, of course, Yuki Tsunoda. Red Bull kind of hinted that they might be looking inside the Red Bull family for a substitute. I'm gonna guess based on Daniel Ricciardo. But the other option would be Yuki Tsunoda. He was outperforming Nick DeVries, who in theory is not slow. Still is tending to see what the hell happened to him. Like, he won F2, he won Formula E, he has won several competitions, but for some reason the Alfa Tauri did not suit his driving style, or he just was not as fast as Yuki Tsunoda, for example, who has been in F1 for several years already, by the way. So yeah, I think Yuki Tsunoda is, let's say, in the fire test right now, right? The test of fire, or whatever you want to call it. It's in the test of his life. If he can outperform Daniel Ricciardo, who is a shown Grand Prix winner, his chances to go to Red Bull could have gone up by a lot. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, of course, will be checking this carefully. because if Daniel Ricciardo cannot beat Yuki Tsunoda, it might actually mean that Daniel Ricciardo's career is in F1 at least is over, and that Yuki Tsunoda is not as slow perhaps as many people might think. He was outperformed by Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly is a very experienced driver, by the way. He's not slow, but Yuki Tsunoda was a rookie as well. Now, it would be actually kind of interesting to see if he can battle with Pierre Gasly, for example, right? If Yuki Tsunoda can outperform Daniel Ricciardo, he might have chances to go to that Red Bull. Another candidate, and this was a candidate before Sergio Perez was brought into Red Bull as well, is Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg, however you want to, if you're a German speaker. But anyway, he is in Haas contract until 24. However, I'm gonna guess his contract is kind of easy to be broken, and I don't think Haas might let him stay if Red Bull comes for him, right? He's Max Verstappen's choice of a teammate, of course, Daniel Ricciardo as well, but before they brought Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen wanted Nico Hülkenberg to be in the second car. Fast driver, good driver, and apparently good for the team as well. They preferred Sergio Perez thanks to the winning that Grand Prix with Racing Point, with the fuck up that Mercedes did with Russell. But anyway, this could be the hidden candidate, by the way. And another one that they have been praising, I'm gonna guess this is just to unstabilize a little bit the market, is Lando Norris. Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, especially Marko, said that Lando Norris is like the jewel that everybody wants, right? He's still very young, very good friends with Max Verstappen, and they know he's fast, so he could be another candidate. However, McLaren, I don't think that they will let Lando Norris go so easily. That is point number one. And point number two, I don't know if Lando Norris actually wants to go to Red Bull as long as Max Verstappen is there. We have seen that Max Verstappen is a killer. He's a killer inside the track and outside the track. He and his family, especially his father, will complain and they will push as much as they can so they can get whatever they want. We saw with Sergio Perez, for example, that whenever Perez was in front of Verstappen, Verstappen's father or himself, they would be complaining to Christian Horner and Helmut Marko about what the hell is happening when the driver, Max Verstappen, should be the one leading, right? If you go to Red Bull right now while Max Verstappen is still there, you are in a huge danger. Number one, Max Verstappen is crazy fast. And number two, team politics are the strength of the Verstappens. If Lando Norris starts being kind of equal to Max Verstappen, he will be in trouble. And if he cannot beat Max Verstappen with the same car, which Max Verstappen's driving style looks like it's not very suitable for the rest of the drivers, as we have seen with other drivers, right? Your career is over. As simple as that. So he's very good in McLaren right now. Things have to be said. He's like the number one driver. Piastri is there. We will see how Piastri develops. Looks like now that the car is faster and easier to drive, they are developing there. And let's see where McLaren is going in the following years. What's going to happen in 2026 and blah, 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 right? They have been reinforcing the engineering department and stuff. They're doing a good job. The car is good. So I don't think Lando Norris would like to leave the team, at least yet. Maybe in 2028, the story will be different. Let's see what's going to happen with Max Verstappen, right? Let's go to the next team, Mercedes. Mercedes has two drivers. Number one, Lewis Hamilton, who finishes the contract this year. A driver who's close to the 40s. He's still motivated, that's what he says. The team also wants him. His feedback apparently is very important. But Mojo, his salary is quite high. He's earning, I think, is like somewhere into 35 to 40 million euros a year, which is not something Mercedes is willing to spend. Is it something worth it? I mean, right now he's in front of Russell, right? Consistently. But at the beginning of the season, Russell was kind of in front. So The problem with Hamilton is that if the car is not where he wants it to be, he has problems. Something maybe Russell doesn't have so much because of his years in Williams, right? He was driving that piece of garbage, and when he goes to the Mercedes, it looks like it's a rocket ship for him. So that is number one. Number two, of course, we have Russell, as mentioned, and has the contract until the next year. His manager is Toto Wolff, so kind of ensured that as long as Toto Wolff is in Mercedes, he will be there. He's quick, it's shown, it's proven, he won a Grand Prix, and the results are there, right? Lately, he's been a little bit slower than Lewis Hamilton. However, still is the future of Mercedes. What's going to happen with this team for next year? Well, I mean, we know that Lewis Hamilton is going to continue, right? There was rumors some months ago that perhaps there could be a switch between Leclerc and Hamilton, which I really don't think so. We will see actually after 2024, which could be a different story when Leclerc's contract is finishing and there could be an opening in Ferrari. In the meantime, I think Lewis Hamilton will stay in Mercedes at least for 1 year more, and we will see what's going to happen then. However, if Hamilton decides that this is not the case and he wishes to either change teams or just retire, which I don't think so, the candidate number one would be Lando Norris, mentioned before as well. Lando Norris, racing for McLaren, engine, Mercedes, and also praised by Toto Wolff. Looks like Red Bull and Mercedes are actually interested in Mr. Lando Norris. But again, actually it depends, because Lando Norris, I think, or McLaren would be easier with letting go Lando Norris to Mercedes in exchange for another driver, right? Maybe. So Lando Norris could be number one driver that Mercedes would go for, right? After, whatever you want. Another one would be, as I mentioned, Charles Leclerc. Mercedes kind of hinted, tempted, made some kind of slight movement like you do in the press, whatever, right? Or approaching Charles Leclerc or his manager or whoever to try to see what is the situation, if he's interested in changing teams or whatever, seeing that Ferrari is actually making a lot of mistakes. The car is not bad, but the strategy-wise, the team order-wise and stuff, Leclerc has been showing publicly that he's very unhappy with. Changing teams to Mercedes could be one option for him, seeing that Mercedes actually is much better organized than Ferrari right now. Let's see what's going to happen with Fred Vasseur, if he's going to be a Jean Todt number 2, right? Jean Todt the second. How Ferrari is going to do stuff, I think they have to change many things in Ferrari to try to keep Charles Leclerc other than kaching, right? Offering him a huge contract, which is kind of rumored that he already signed with Ferrari. We will see about that. They say that it's going to be 185 million euros for 3 years. It's 2 + 1 years, 185. That is earning more than Max Verstappen right now. If it's true, I think there is no moving Charles Leclerc from there. But anyway, the other one would be actually I think it's a logical choice as well, but I don't think they will do it. It's going for Frederic Vesti. Vesti is an academy driver for Mercedes. He's doing quite well in F2 right now, and he's kind of shown that he's fast already in other categories as well, right? However, I don't think Mercedes will bring a rookie into their own team. Most probably they will loan it to another team in exchange for making their engines a little bit cheaper. Could be McLaren, which I don't think so. McLaren has a lot of drivers waiting to enter into the F1, but I'm gonna guess could be Williams. Seeing that Logan Sargent is not doing very well, could be Vesti going to Williams for that. So yeah. And another surprise could be Alexander Albon, which his contract is also finishing this year. He's very good friends with George Russell, and even though I think he still belongs to the Red Bull family, if Mercedes goes for Albon, I think he would actually exit the Red Bull family. Same like Pierre Gasly did when going to Alpine, right? This could be a surprise candidate, but not very surprised. He's in Williams with a Mercedes engine and going to the main team seeing that he's doing very well, would not be a crazy opinion. At least not for me. And I think this could be the hidden candidate, right? He's shown he's quick, at least with the Williams in several racetracks. He was with the Red Bull, but that Red Bull was very, very Max Verstappen made for, right? It was tailor-made for Max Verstappen. The kind of way to drive it was a nightmare for any driver who was not Max Verstappen. Him, Gasly, Perez, all of them suffered with that Red Bull. We will see what's going to happen with Albon as well. But anyway, I think this could be a hidden candidate for the Mercedes car. Ferrari. Not much to talk about here, actually, because Leclerc is finishing the contract in 24, same like Carlos Sainz. And this would be a debate for next year. But anyway, there's a lot of rumors saying that Carlos Sainz might be interested in going to Audi in 2026. And perhaps he could sign a deal with Ferrari for 1 year only and then go to the Audi team in 26. Or perhaps he would just exit, go that strange year, like the 2025 year, to the Sauber team and get in touch with the car and started developing the car on his own taste 1 year before the Audi gets there, right? Which for me would be the logical option, rather than going there to a car that hasn't developed by somebody else without your input. Go there, put your input before actually the car is starting to be done or whatever, and then have the car at your own taste. If that happens, Ferrari actually could go for Albon, could go for perhaps a Hamilton for 1 year, could go for Norris, which they also want him. There's several options open right there. Piastri, I don't think he will move from McLaren, but Piastri could be an option for Ferrari as well. And they do have academy drivers, but again, like Mercedes, it's very rare that one of these big teams take a rookie and put it in the first car in the first season. They will probably loan it to a sister team, a younger team. In this case, would be Alfa Romeo. But Alfa Romeo is leaving Sauber, so would be perhaps Haas team. Let's go to Aston Martin, right? Alonso is finishing the contract next year, and seeing that the results of the team are coming in his hand or through his hands, it's very difficult to see that they will kick him out for next year. The one who could leave, actually, and this would be very unpredictable, would be Lance Stroll. His contract doesn't have a finishing time. He doesn't have anything that says when it's over. It's multi-annual. It's actually not a lot known about his contract because the father of Lance Stroll is the owner of Aston Martin, right? I mean, what can we say about him? He's being destroyed by Fernando Alonso, but anyway, if you put almost everybody along Fernando Alonso, you are going to get probably destroyed. He's not performing. He started the season later because he had some injury with the wrists. He had a surgery just before the season started. Should be cured by now, but anyway, the preseason and stuff, he lost it. But the results are there. I mean, Fernando Alonso is consistently in the top 10, and he isn't. What's going to happen with him? Will Lawrence Stroll sack his own son from the team, right? I don't think so. At least not yet. I read some comments about this saying that they were hearing stuff on Aston Martin saying that Lance Stroll could be leaving his last season because his father actually might start to require results. His father is a businessman, he's a shark, and he wants things big. If his son cannot deliver the results needed for the team to achieve the greatness, perhaps he will have to take the hard decision to take the son away, right? If that should happen, the one who is hinted to also be in the list would be Nico Hülkenberg, because he has already been in the team for several years. He drove the car, and without preparation, they saw how quick he was. So Nico Hülkenberg could be going to Aston Martin if this happened. However, I don't think this is the case, at least not for now. Perhaps next year could be, seeing that Fernando Alonso's contract will also end. We will see what's going to happen with the team. The other option would be Felipe Drugovich, the last champion of F2 in the last season. He's the reserve driver for Aston Martin, and he was ready to jump in the car. He's kind of quick, Otherwise, you don't win the F2, right? So we will see what's going to happen with the Aston Martin, especially with this seat. Again, I think he's going to stay in the F1, in the Aston Martin, but just in case. Alpine, I don't think they will move the drivers at all unless some catastrophic thing happened with the team, which is rumored that Andretti might buy the team with Cadillac and blah blah, and Alpine might stay with Renault as engine supplier. Blah blah blah. But otherwise, if Alpine stays as it is, both Pierre Gasly and Ocon do have a contract for next year, so nobody is gonna move the team, at least for now, right? McLaren does have Norris with a contract until 2025, but like I said, there's a lot of teams that are very interested in him. So we will see what's going to happen with him. And Piastri does have a contract until next year. Usually rookies are given 1 or 2 years to show their potential because the first year it's a big gap between F2 and F1. A lot of things to learn. The cars are very different, much more power, much more corner speed and everything. So usually rookies are given 2 years. In some special cases not, but anyway. Looks like he's performing quite well with a new car, or with the Spec B, or however you want to call it, right? The upgrade is suiting well both Norris and Piastri. He's there, as Ricciardo was not, for example. And I don't think McLaren is planning to change the pair of drivers, at least for the short term. So we will say that's going to happen. However, should Norris depart the team, they do have other drivers in the things, like Alex Palou. They have Colton Herta, which I don't think has enough points to be in the super license. But anyway, right? Alex Palou is the option. Other teams such as Red Bull also were kind of interested in Palou, but McLaren said no. Palou is theirs, and they will manage it. Let's see what's going to happen. Palou could be going to F1 in another team if they get the offer is good enough, right? But anyway, perhaps they could loan it. I don't know. The Haas team, like I mentioned before, Hülkenberg has options to go to other teams such as Red Bull. The contract is until next year. I think we will see what's going to happen, because I think it was like 1+1 or something like this, and this +1 might not be activated if he has an offer from another team. Red Bull, like I said before, and the other one would be Aston Martin, but the Aston Martin option doesn't look very, very great. So looks like he will stay in Haas, at least for now. And Kevin Magnussen has the contract also finishing. And we will see what's going to happen with him, because last year he was the one beating Nick Schumacher often until the end of the season, where actually I was defending Nick Schumacher because he was out-qualifying Magnussen in several races in a row. Now that has Nico Hülkenberg next to him, Hülkenberg, that has been out of F1 longer than Magnussen, is actually beating quite badly Kevin Magnussen, right? The performances are not there. I don't know if it's that he has not the magic with the car anymore or whatever. But the first rival in F1 is your teammate, and if Hülkenberg is beating you left, right, and center, your days in F1 might be counted. Especially seeing his age, he's already over 30, so Haas might be looking for another driver. Remember, Alfa Romeo is leaving Sauber, the partnership, due to all this thing, and they will be going to Haas as an engine supplier. So Alfa Romeo could come along a driver, which in this case could be either Zhou Guanyu. Why? Number one, in Sauber they are kind of happy with him and his sponsorship. It's rumored that he is giving Sauber around 20 million euros per year to race in there. And it's not a paid driver, but he has sponsorships that are very good for the teams, small teams, such as Sauber or Haas or Williams, right? He's not slow, but he's not fast either. So this could be a driver. I mean, there are 3 teams interested right now in Zhou Guanyu, which has, like I mentioned, Haas, Sauber, and Williams, right? Due to his money package, whatever. So this could be driver number one that could go to Haas should Sauber not renew his contract. Of course, he prefers to stay at Sauber, right? I mean, the team is happy with him and he's happy on the team. Let's see what's going to happen. Another one could be, like I said, Ferrari Academy drivers. They did it with Mick Schumacher at the beginning. Haas was not very happy at the end with how everything went. And they said that they don't care. Usually when you get a driver loaned to a team, you get like a cheaper engine or power unit or whatever, gearbox, blah, blah, blah. You get a discount. Haas could want that discount in the long term. Why? Because despite them having a decent car, money is money, economy is economy, and having perhaps, I don't know, 5 million euros more per year instead of spending it in the engine, you can spend it developing the car or whatever, could be actually kind of interesting. And having somebody like Oliver Behrman, like I said, I don't know if he still has the super license points to be in F1, but he could have at the end of the season. And being a Ferrari Academy driver, seeing Alfa Romeo going to Haas as an engine supplier, and seeing that Magnussen is not performing as expected from him, right? Seeing how he was doing last year, perhaps he could be another option. Or Robert Schwartzman, same like Oliver Behrman, Ferrari Academy driver, blah, blah, blah. Against Schwartzman is that he's Russian, and we know that right now the trend is to go against anything that is Russian, right? It's changing slowly, but still. He's a Ferrari Academy driver. They didn't fire him. They just didn't. They didn't let him drive in F2 or whatever. He's doing other stuff in the meantime, right? Same like Marcus Armstrong went to the Indy. He's doing other stuff. But he still... I remember Binotto saying that Robert Schwartzman was actually doing very well with the Ferrari in some tests in Fiorano, and they were happy with his performance. So he could be an option as well. Let's not forget about him. Arthur Leclerc, another Ferrari Academy driver, the brother of Charles Leclerc. He's not doing that bad, but he's not like at the front consistently in F2, so perhaps he might not have enough points for the super license to race in F1. But Ferrari Academy driver, nonetheless, could be another option for the team. Alfa Romeo, which next year will be Sauber. We know that Valtteri Bottas has the contract until 2025, and he will remain in the team at least until the end of that season. Let's see what's going to happen when Audi arrives. The other one is Zhou Guanyu, like I said. He's finishing the contract this year. The team is happy with him, with his attitude, with his development, whatever. He's happy on the team. But the team is very happy with his money as well. So we will see what's going to happen. However, seeing that Sauber is going to depend a lot on what's going to happen with Audi's deal, the ones who are going to say who's going to stay on the team are going to be Audi. Of course, Valtteri Bottas being the one faster with experience, they will keep him in the team at least until the contract finishes. Probably the responsible for developing the Audi of 2026 might be Valtteri Bottas due to his experience in Mercedes and blah, blah, blah. So Valtteri Bottas' seat is kind of safe unless suddenly his performance starts to go down, right? That would be number one. So whether he stays in the team or not, Zhou Guanyu, will depend a lot on what Audi has to say. If they want to keep some consistency in the team, or if they prefer to go for other drivers. Sauber's junior driver is Théo Pourchaire. Théo Pourchaire, which is a candidate for the title this year of F2, as was before, might be the driver to go to. If Zhou Guanyu, for example, gets the offer from another team like Haas or Williams or whatever, seeing that Williams is starting to push forward little by little, right? Especially in some racetracks, they could go for Théo Pourchaire. We will see what's going to happen there. And let's go to Williams before we go to AlphaTauri, because AlphaTauri is going to be crazy. But anyway, Williams, like I said, Alexander Albon is finishing contract this year. Everything points that Williams are going to try to keep him at whatever cost. He's good. His input is good. He's happy on the team. The team is very happy with him, of course. He's carrying the team in his shoulders. It's like he's having the second life in the F1, right? We will see what's going to happen with him. I don't think Red Bull are going to try to bring him to AlphaTauri, for example. Even though, and I say even though, The Alpha Tauri, like I mentioned in another video this week, the Alpha Tauri is rumored that it's going to be the RB19, mostly, in almost every area of the car. Red Bull are going to be doing a sister team, a junior team that is going to be the previous year's car. They stopped this nonsense of trying to make Alpha Tauri independent. So next year's Alpha Tauri will be this year's Red Bull, with next year's engine, of course. We will see what's going to happen there, because if that is the car and they tempt Alex Albon, he might actually go back to Alpha Tauri to try to see if he's worth it or not. Again, we will see what's going to happen with that, because it's just a rumor, more than a rumor, but anyway, we will see there. But anyway, everything points that he will stay in the team in Williams. The other one, and this is one of the drivers that is most in danger, is Logan Sargent. He is being really outperformed by Alexander Albon. Everything has to be said, the Williams is not the easiest car to drive, where the racetracks actually point to have or tend to have these long straight lines that could use the Williams as a speed, then the Williamses usually stay close to the top 10. In racetracks like Monaco, whatever, where you don't have straight lines, the Williamses usually go back to the back of the grid, right? Still, it's his first year. Of course, it's only half of the season, but his performance, I'm gonna guess, is not what Williams might be expecting from them. If you're trying to go forward, if you're trying to get sponsors, if you're trying to get it, you need two good drivers to try to push the team forward together. They have one, which is Alexander Albon. Logan is not doing it so far. He's a rookie. Again, usually rookies get 2 years unless something happens, right? So we'll see. But like I said, Zhou Guanyu is one of the options for Williams as well. He's not a slow driver, but especially Williams needs money. They need money because, like James Vowles said several times, with all the team principals and to the FIA or whatever, Williams is really behind in installations, in engineering department, upgrades, and blah, blah, blah. They need to be updating stuff. 20 million euros could help a lot. Could help a lot with that. So Zhou Guanyu could be one option for Williams. Another one is Jack Doohan, who is in F2. He's not doing bad. He's not a title contender, but things can change in the second part of the season of F2. He was a candidate for the seat last year, where Williams was kind of hesitating to change to Renault engines or not. They stayed with Mercedes, but anyway, I think Alpine would be kind of happy to let Jack Doohan go, maybe loaned to Williams to try to get some experience in F1, or what's going to happen. He could be a candidate again. Frederic Vesti with Mercedes, like I said with Ferrari, for example. Vesti going to Williams could mean that Williams can save some money in the engine that you can invest in other areas of the team, right? This actually, I think, is one of the most realistic candidates. He's a title contender. He for sure will have the super license points, for sure, same like Doohan. So yeah, I think Frederic Vesti could be one of the realistic candidates for the Williams seat, should they not continue with Logan Sargent. However, Logan Sargent is from the USA, and the owners of the F1 are from the USA, and you know we have Austin, we have Miami, we have Las Vegas, and we will see if there's more races in the USA in the future. So having a US driver is actually very, very, very important. So yeah, Vesti, we will see. I think it's the most realistic candidate should they not continue with Logan Sargent. But anyway, and let's go to Alpha Tauri. Alpha Tauri, we have Tsunoda, which is finishing the contract this year. I'm kind of sure he's going to continue. There's no doubt about that. Especially because he was outperforming Nick de Vries, and we will see what's going to happen in the second half of the season with Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo arrived in Hungary. He was in front of Tsunoda, and Belgium, they were kind of there. I think Tsunoda finished in front of Ricciardo because Ricciardo had some problems. But anyway, I think this is a very important battle, both for Daniel Ricciardo and for Yuki Tsunoda. If Tsunoda can beat Ricciardo, like I said before, he will gain a lot of points of trust inside the Red Bull family. Ricciardo is a shown Grand Prix winner, and he was performing very well in the test with the Red Bull, which means he still has it. If Tsunoda can beat Daniel Ricciardo, will have a lot of points for Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull family. If Ricciardo can beat Yuki Tsunoda, I think his career in F1 might be over. Especially because Yuki Tsunoda arrived to F1 with the help of Honda. Honda, which is still the supplier of engines of Red Bull, they are called Red Bull powertrains, yes, but it's still supported by Honda and their technology. We will see what's going to happen there, because when Ford arrives, Honda will not be there anymore. Yuki Tsunoda, if he doesn't perform, he might be out. So who are the candidates aside from these two? Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, I really don't think that he will be arriving to the AlphaTauri, right? So the other candidate, the logical candidate, would be Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson, who was almost a champion in DTM, except if you watched what happened in 2020 or 21, what Van der something did to him in the last race was really dirty, but he was going to win the DTM. I think everybody knows that he is like the champion of that year. What happened in the stewards and the owners of the championship in the DTM that year, it's kind of disgraceful. Same like what happened in F1 in 2021 with Michael Masi. I don't know if Michael Masi was the one who was behind all this or he was being told what to do. But anyway, something similar, or worse actually. In F2, he won a couple of races as well. He didn't win the championship. Now he's in Japan, where he's not performing that bad as well. He has good support in Red Bull. I think he's the chosen one to be in AlphaTauri in the following season. If it's not going to be next year, it's going to be in the following one. We will see what's going to happen with Perez. If Ricciardo goes to Red Bull, if Yuki Tsunoda goes to Red Bull, if somebody else goes to Red Bull. But Liam Lawson will be in AlphaTauri in the following years for sure. If it's not next year, it's going to be in 2025. And more or less, that's it. I don't think anybody else is going to go to AlphaTauri. Like I said, Alex Albon, but that will depend as well a lot in what's going to happen with that car. And if Red Bull are... they need to liberate some spaces, right? So we will see. We will see what's going to happen with AlphaTauri and the drivers. I made a short finishing table here where you can actually see who is where and what the contracts are looking alike for the following season, right? I think I already spoke about all this. You can check it, you can analyze it, you can draw your own conclusions, throw your own theories if you have any interesting stuff. You can put it below in the comments. I'm really happy to debate with anyone who is willing to share opinions. And I will be doing more episodes in the following weeks about what's happening in this F1 mid-season break, right? We have many things to talk about. In the meantime, as usual, take it easy, enjoy your summer, and see you soon.